welcome to 30 Days of Hoya. We will kick off our Hoya journey with the first Hoya today, and this is none other than your Hoya carnosa. Now, Hoya carnosa is possibly the most common Hoya that you can get, and here I have a cultivar that is Hoya carnosa Crimson Princess. Now, Hoya carnosa is native to Southeast Asia and also southern parts of China, East India, parts of Japan. This Hoya is, I would say, very easy to take care of. It has been in cultivation for over 200 years, so there is a wide variety of cultivars that you can pick from. So this would be one cultivar that I have here, but there are many others. For example, there is another cultivar that I will show you. This is Hoya carnosa compacta, and as you can see, this one is in semi-hydro. There is also Hoya carnosa crinkle 8 that has also interesting leaves here, and then you can see. So they kind of have a bit of a crinkle on the leaf. There is also a similar Hoya to this one, and that is Hoya carnosa Crimson Queen. This is how Hoya carnosa Crimson Queen looks like, and oftentimes it is confused with Hoya carnosa Crimson Princess, but there is a very good video on Betsy Begonia's channel that you can check out that will help you understand the difference between the Crimson Queen and then Crimson Princess, but also Hoya australis Lisa, which will not be a part of this video. In terms of temperature, Hoya carnosa is one of the hardier Hoyas that you can get. So there are kind of three categories of Hoyas, and this would be considered a cool Hoya. Now, this doesn't mean that you can freeze it or anything similar, remember where it is native to, but this just means that this Hoya will tolerate temperatures around 10 degrees of Celsius or 50 degrees of Fahrenheit. So that would be the bare minimum. Which makes it ideal if you have a cooler place where you can keep it in winter, or if you don't have enough space in your home to keep it in winter. But this also means that it will be possible for you to grow this Hoya if you have a cooler home. Now, in terms of light, I would say that Hoya carnosa requires bright indirect light. Some Hoyas require less, some require more. I noticed this one really does well if you give it a bit of a more bright indirect light. So eastern window will do well, even a western window. I would pull it back from a south facing window, but it will be happy in bright indirect light. You will notice on this Hoya here that the leaves, the new growth, they get a bit pinkish towards the center, and this is due to the light, and also the new growth looks like this. But if you give it too much light, you may actually burn the leaves. So I would be just mindful of that. In terms of watering, Hoya carnosa can take more of a drought. I water this Hoya every 7 to 10 days. It is in a terracotta pot in a very barky mixture. But I do have some other Hoya carnosas that I grow in semi-hydroponics. So this one, Hoya carnosa compacta, this one is grown in leca, in semi-hydroponics, and the water at the bottom of the reservoir gets changed also about every 7 days. So you can grow it either in semi-hydroponics or you can grow it in regular Hoya mix. Now, on this cultivar here, that is Hoya carnosa Splash, it's very tiny, you can actually see more of that barky mix and how it looks like. So there is some leca there, there is bark, perlite, a very tiny bit of cocoa peat, and general potting soil. In terms of fertilizer, I give all my Hoyas Focus Grow fertilizer for orchids, and it's a gentle fertilizer and it really does well for them. I do fertilize my Hoyas also throughout the winter because I keep them in a warm place with lots of light, so they do continue to grow. And, you know, if you keep it in such a situation, then you should probably continue to give your Hoya fertilizer. You can just double down on the dose that you usually give throughout the summer months. In terms of humidity, this isn't really a very requiring Hoya. It will do very well in household conditions, so 30 or 40 degrees of humidity will do just fine. So you don't have to go crazy on humidity for this one. I would definitely recommend this Hoya for beginners. There are a lot of carnosas to choose from, and I don't find any of them particularly difficult. Some cultivars may grow slower than others, but it's generally a very steady grower. So again, very interesting Hoya, and the one that you can very easily find, especially now. I think garden centers all around the world, not just in Europe, but also in America, are getting this Hoya. So you might be able to find Crimson Queen or Crimson Princess. Some other Hoyas like Carnosa Splash, Grey Ghost, and others that I don't have are not so easily found and can get quite pricey. But your more common would definitely be the Crimson Princess, the Crimson Queen, Compacta, Crinkle 8, and of course the regular Carnosa. So you can expect to find those in your local garden center or a garden store without much issues. So that is it for today about Hoya Carnosa.